Hi everyone, how are you all doing? My name is Natalie. If this is the first time that you're watching my videos, thank you so much for being here. I am a Western tropical astrologer and I use a whole sign house system for all my readings and forecasts. In this video, we are talking about one of the biggest week in 2026, the February 16th to 22nd, where one of the most anticipated aspect is happening for all of us individually and on a collective level. It is the Saturn Neptune conjunction in the sign of Aries. Let's talk about it, but let's break down everything in this week, all the energies that leads up to it. So let's talk about Monday. I know this video is uploaded in earlier time zone, is probably Tuesday already. Sometimes what I find most useful for me personally and also for my client is when we take a look back, reflect on what happened after the week, we are able to connect the dots. We're able to really feel and recall how those energies showed up for us. So if it feels resonating, you can try that way as well. But on Monday the 16th, we have Mercury in Pisces trine Jupiter in Cancer at 15 degrees. This is a lovely energy. Even though Mercury is already in its pre-shadow, the trine is still really nice. So this can be a day where you find yourself having some healing, some supportive, emotional conversation, because both are in water signs. So Mercury is already in its pre-shadow as of today. So the chances are, while this trine can be supportive, this can be a day where some of us can have a supportive healing conversation. Since this is in both water signs, this can be a conversation that you communicate about your emotion, you're expressing yourself, how you're feeling, sensing. This is with Jupiter in Cancer. So for some, this can be talking about community care, being in community with other people, feeling that supportive energy from being in a group, or being with your friends, or being with someone that you can feel support or care for, and feeling safe to express yourself. But having that pre-shadow energy of Mercury retrograde, chances are this might be an ongoing conversation that you will come back and maybe excavate more and understand more during the Mercury retrograde as well. Next day on the 17th, we have the annular solar eclipse happening in the sign of Aquarius. It is happening at the 28 degrees 49 minutes in the sign of Aquarius. February 17, 4:01 a.m. or 8:01 p.m. In Hong Kong time. So adjust the time according to where you are in the world. This is the very, very first eclipse in the sign of Aquarius that we are experiencing. And right now, the nodes which define where the eclipses are happening, they are still in Pisces and Virgo. But in July, the nodes will slowly continue to move and shift into Aquarius and Leo. So this is kind of like a prequel to what this new eclipse cycle might mean for all of us. And it's been quite a while since we have any eclipse in the sign of Aquarius. The last time that we have an eclipse in the sign of Aquarius was February 2017 to January 19. But that was when we have a nodal reversal, meaning that South Node was in Aquarius during that time, and the North Node was in Leo. And the nodes are about to switch in summer, like this year. And the North Node will move into Aquarius and the South Node will move into Leo. And last time that happened was further back, but from February 2008 to August 2009. That was the last time when North Node was in Aquarius, South Node was in Leo. So that was long time ago. It is because of the speed of how the nodes travel and move in each sign. That's why it is usually about every 9 years where we will experience eclipse in the same sign, but in a opposite energy. So the nodes will be opposite of each other. And about every 19 or so years, 18, 19 or so years, that is when we have the exact nodal energy coming back. And I can already think back of what happened during those times, which really resonate with the nodes. But we will definitely talk about more as summer come close, when we really dive into that nodal shift, what does that all mean for all of us? But now you can also think back to see what those timeline for you, what major changes, faded ending, beginning were happening during those period of time. A similar theme might be coming. And this eclipse, since this is the very, very first one, this is a seeding moment where it will continue to unfold in the next couple of years. So it doesn't mean that this eclipse is going to be like once and done kind of deal. This is more like an opening of a story that is going to continue to unfold and develop for you personally and for us collectively in the next 2 years. So this might be something, for some, it can be really major if it's hitting your personal planets or points. But for some, this might be like that seeding moment, that opening portal. So still pay attention to see what is happening. If there's sudden shift and changes development in your life around, I would say this week, but also next week, because in 2 weeks we'll have another eclipse happening. So this eclipse in Aquarius is highlighting and bringing up the Aquarius and Leo axis and the theme. In Leo is the sun, Leo is ruled by the sun, and Leo often associate with the sun ruled people, which in the history is often about the royalty, the kings and the queen, like the ruler of the country. So now when we talk about Leo, we talk about the world leaders, the higher up people, the celebrities, right? The 1% of the population. And Aquarius, on the other side, it is the collective. It often refers to the people that are marginalized, that are outside that little castle, that little bubble, that are not treated fairly. But with what is happening right now in the general public, more and more people fall into those cracks. So Aquarius is more of we the people. It talks about people that are basically just not in that 1%, which is the global majority, the 99%, the rest of us. And the ruler of this eclipse is Saturn. Saturn just recently entered the sign of Aries, and Saturn is creating a square with Uranus and Taurus during this eclipse. And this eclipse itself already packed with that wild card energy of expect the unexpected, that we just need to make space for what is possible. It's out of our control. With that added on square with Uranus, it even makes it more unpredictable. And when we talk about all those themes and people that I've just mentioned, it can be sudden changes, development, shocking news surrounding those people as well, since this is basically the axis energy, and that square really plays into add on that wild card energy of that Aquarius eclipse as well. And around this time, Saturn not just enter Aries, is also approaching to that exact conjunction with Neptune. So that energy is very much in this eclipse as well. And this conjunction is talked about by all astrologers. I'm sure all of us at some point saw it in our feed or post or whatever, and it's been talking about for ages. And that exact conjunction is happening just a couple of days later on the 20th. Saturn is a planet that rules Aquarius and Capricorn, and Saturn in Aries is at its fall, meaning that Saturn is having a tougher time in the sign of Aries. It's more difficult for Saturn to do everything that Saturn is good at. And the sun is exalted in Aries, meaning all those solar rule people are exalted in the sign of Aries. But then now we have Saturn that is at its fall. All these energy gel together can mean something similar to fallen from the grace, the collapse of leadership and structure and system, because Saturn talks about that. And when Saturn is at its fall, in a sign that is at its fall, all the Saturnian themes will experience this energy. It's going to be wobbly, and with the mix with Uranus and eclipse energy, we will definitely see some important headlines around this week. So this eclipse really highlighting that energy of sense of uncertainty, weakening, collapsing, and dissolving of structure and system. Whether this is in our personal life, take a look and see which house is ruled by Aquarius. What are the themes, topic, area of life is that for you, and for us on a collective level as well. But this is also going to give space to spark and build new ones that is more aligned for all of us as well. So while it can sound really scary, doom and gloom, oh my god, things are dissolving, things are like falling apart, but at the same time they fall apart for a reason, because they no longer fit, they no longer align with who we want to become moving forward. And yes, it can be a little bit wild and unexpected because we tend to hang on to what is comfortable, but growth will only come in out of the comfort zone. So this is also making space for something new to grow later on as well. And remember, this is the first eclipse, so this is that first initiation that will continue to unfold in the next couple of years. So it's not like everything is going to fall apart for everybody this week. Maybe for some, yes, but maybe we will need to continue to see how this energy unfold for you on a personal level as well. In the midst of all this wild, chaotic energy during this eclipse, we do have a little very cute energy that is showing up, which is the Venus conjuncting North Node in the sign of Pisces at 8 degrees. And this is the first one because later on other planets will travel through this point and conjunct with this North Node in Pisces at 8 degrees as well. In some way, shape or form, this is also a little bit of that faded energy being thrown into the eclipse as well, meaning it kind of gives us a sense of comfort of, even though if something really collapse, break down, get taken away, God forbid, you know, Venus hit conjuncting with that North Node also can in the background giving us a sense of comfort, knowing that, hey, it's okay, it's meant to happen because we are here to build something new. We are here to feel the feels, let it go, and know that subconsciously, because Pisces is that sign where everything is not in the physical form yet, is what we cannot see, but in the background something is being rebuilt, something is being called in as well at the same time. The next day, the sun entered Pisces and kickstart Pisces season on the 7:51 a.m. Pacific time or 11:51 p.m. Hong Kong time. So adjust the time according to where you are in the world. When the sun entered Pisces, it is a bit mushy. It's a bit like, ooh, we're in the feels a little bit more, because Pisces is that mutable water sign where there's no boundaries, no limit, and water refers to our emotions. And this is a time where we can be in our feelings a little bit more, and at the same time we do have Mercury retrograde in Pisces, and that tops it as well. We're in the pre-shadow. The actual retrograde will begin end of this month as well. So with the sun now in Pisces as well, this can bring sometimes more attention to our emotional body. So take care of yourself, make sure you are communicating clearly, you know, that you don't jump to conclusion quickly, because we are also having that Mercury retrograde shadow energy in the background already. Pisces is also the last sign in the zodiacal wheel, meaning that this astrological year is reaching the last season. When the sun leave Pisces and enter Aries in March, that is when we kickstart a new astrological year. And in the northern hemisphere, it coincides with the spring equinox. That is how we decide and marks all those dates in the astrology as well. So during this Pisces season is a great time to really go inward, to reflect on this zodiacal year that you have had and how far you've come, to reflect on all the ups and downs, to take stock of like I said, how far you've come and how would you like to move forward in the next astrological year. And Pisces is a sign that associate with everything we cannot see. It is our subconscious, our dream world, our spirituality, ancestry, and lineage. So during Pisces season, you might feel more connected to all those topics. And because it coincides also with the Lunar New Year that is celebrated by a lot of Chinese culture, Asian country, this is also a time where we might feel more connected to our ancestor. We might do some ancestral healing, in order to give thanks to the past year, to welcome in the new year. You might feel more psychic. You might feel more connected with your psychic abilities and intuition. Those are everything that Pisces talks about. You might have more vivid dreams. It's a great time to do some ancestral healing, to connect with your intuition a little bit more, to do some perhaps dream journal, and so on and so forth. You might feel called to do more spiritual practices if that feel aligned with you as well. But of course, like I always say, all energy have both light and shadow attribute. The shadow attribute of Pisces is escapism, not knowing the limit and boundary. And during this transit, we need to be mindful of that, because some of us might tend to fall into escapism through, maybe just depression. Some of us do have seasonal depression, so please take care of your emotions. Make sure you have your tools, ways that you can get help. There's no shame in asking for help. We all need help from time to time. And it can be also through drugs, psychedelic, alcohol, or anything that can allow you to escape, right? It can be a lot of different things. Everyone might feel different. So be mindful with that energy. It is okay to escape a little bit and melt away a little bit. Just make sure you don't allow yourself to stay in that energy and continue to spiral, right? That you have tools that will help you to pull yourself out as well, or ask for help as well. On the 20th, finally, let's talk about this Neptune-Saturn conjunction that all astrologer has been talking about for the past, I don't know how long. It is happening at the 0 degree of Aries. 0 degrees 45 minutes in the sign of Aries. The 0 degree of any cardinal sign, which Aries is a cardinal sign, is a world point, meaning that whenever some important aspect happen at this 0 degree, things happen. It is usually a new era coming in, a new chapter coming in. Last time that we had a Saturn-Neptune conjunction was 1989, which coincided with the fall of the Berlin Wall and the Tiananmen Square protest, which is also known for the June 4th movement. Both events was violent. Both events talks about the collapse, right? The change of borders and boundaries and system. And during that Saturn-Neptune conjunction, it was happening in the sign of Capricorn. So Capricorn is a sign that ruled by Saturn. Saturn was really strong. Okay, so that Saturn-Neptune conjunction, in my own opinion, when it is happening in a sign that Saturn is at home with its feeling, its energy, it tend to be more positive. It tend to signify more of a positive effect, or it bring out something that we need to be aware of in some way, shape, or form. But now the Saturn-Neptune conjunction in the sign of Aries, Saturn is at its fall. But we can see it both ways. Yes, Saturn is at its falls, meaning that the collapse, the dissolution might happen in a more negative way. And having Aries, a Mars rule sign associated with fire, weapons, violence, war, we cannot help but think that this can escalate all those themes. But Saturn, we want a planet to, in a sign that is at its fall, to do something that we want them to do if we want to break something, right? So in order to break or collapse this existing system, government or whatsoever, that is no longer serving the collective. We want Saturn to be in its fall, and Saturn is at its fall in Aries. So you see what I'm getting, because now you have that energy to actually help you to break down something. And this Neptune and Saturn conjunction energy is not just a one-day done deal kind of thing. They move slower, and they actually, this energy, this conjunction has been building for the past 2-3 years. It's just that today, finally, the two of them align at the exact degree minutes on top of each other, creating that cazimi when they are like aligned without any minutes away from each other. But they have been very, very close since 2023. When Saturn entered the sign of Pisces, it already initiated that conjunction energy. And we all can definitely recall what happened in 2023. That was when, you know, the genocide in Gaza took place, initiated. That was when the war between Russia and Ukraine really kicks in and get escalated. That is when we start to see more of all this ugly truth of different countries coming up. But they get more escalated. They intensified last year when Saturn and Neptune come really, really close, just within that 1 degree, hovering very near each other and traveling at that last couple of degrees together in the sign of Pisces. That is also when we see the escalation of everything. Now they're finally together. What does that mean? Unfortunately, something needs to get worse before they get better. And we can definitely see that escalating the past few months, right? With the Epstein files, with ICE getting more and more violent. But at the same time, so remember, Neptune and Saturn, they cannot be more different. Saturn is about all the structure, system, it's about the government, it's about all the institution. And then we have Neptune, which is the fantasy, the dreams, the interconnectedness of our consciousness, right? It is about being to idealize something new. So while we have the collapse of the structure, the ugliness, all those stuff that I've just mentioned, we also have more and more people seeing the truth, waking up and knowing that it's time that they need to stop being in denial, or they need to look at the truth. They need to see how everything is connected. No matter where you are in the world, it doesn't need to be in that country to know the difference, to know the truth. And you do not need to be in that country to feel the effect that can come back to you. It's a boomerang effect, right? If you allow something to happen in one place, you are allowing that thing eventually to happen to you. It's just a matter of time. That's just the cycle of it, right? So we have these two very contradicting energy colliding together, meaning that this conjunction is also going to usher in a new era where maybe more and more people will see through what is happening and able to connect the dots and start to take action, to dream a new system, to dream a new structure that is more aligned, that is more resonating to what the people need. Because we also at the same time have Pluto in Aquarius, which is talking about revolution. And all these energy happen together. Last time when all these energy happened together was the French Revolution, was the Age of Revolution, when we have the Haiti Revolution, French Revolution, and the beginning of Industrial Revolution as well. So we can see how astrology is a cycle of history and events. And the astrology energy repeats, right? They rhyme, but the event doesn't necessarily have to repeat exactly the same. Because I always believe that we have the power to create the change that we want when we have enough people. I think I read somewhere is when we have 8% of the population to do the same thing, then it can be done collectively. So be that 8% and create that 8%, right? And I feel like for us who follow the news, we can actually see Minneapolis as that epicenter of all these energy, right? Usually we see the global majority taking action, being the victims, and the global majority, I mean people that are not white, okay? But with what is happening in Minneapolis, we are seeing a shift, a change, which is resonating with the astrological energy as well, right? We are seeing that it's no longer just the global majority being the victims anymore. It's the white people. And we're seeing the white people to waking up more, to realizing what is really happening, and to actually stand up, be in front of the picket line and fighting back, because now they're feeling it. Now we are kind of seeing eye to eye now, finally, right? They know how it feels like. They know what it can be like, right? So we need to pay attention to see what is happening in that area, because the chances are it will just repeat in different pocket of place around the world, right? And this is a once in a 36 year aspect that kind of initiate a new era, generations for us as a collective. So it almost feel like that once this conjunction happened, there is no turning back, there's no going back. This is creating a timeline shift, almost a new era for the collective. So something you can do is ask yourself, how can you prepare for this moment? How can you prepare for this new era, this revolution, and this new earth that so many people keep saying that we are here to bring in? And I believe we are all our souls sign up to be incarnated into the world at this timeline, right here, right now, for a reason. So this is also the time to know your role, to know your gifts and talent, because they are very much needed right now. So on a personal level, take a look and see your natal chart. Which house is ruled by Aries? What are the themes, topic, area of life is that Aries house about? Because that 0-degree conjunction of Saturn and Neptune is also asking you a question. Who do you want to be? Who do you desire to be, right? This is a seeding moment of knowing the potential of the person that you're so signed up to become, right? With all the structure and system that were imprinted in our cells, in our DNA from we were young, by the society, by capitalism, by imperialism, right? They are going to dissolve away. And when they are no longer here, then who are you really? Because in our world, when we ask who are we, often we'll find ourselves saying that, oh, I am blah blah, right? I am an astrologer, I am a teacher, I am a nurse, doctor, lawyer. We define our role with our career or what we do. And then what if that role is stripped away? What if that role no longer resonates? Then who are you when no one is watching? What really gives you life and turns you on? And by that I mean your passion, your creativity, your essence of your soul. Who are you when all the titles, when all the roles are stripped away, when we do not define ourselves by all the system and ism? Who are you, right? So this is a moment, a seeding moment for you to ponder on who you really are and who you want to become. That role might shift. You might have multiple roles. And how can you make space so that you can let your soul's roles show up in the reality? Finally, one more aspect, and I promise you it's a sweet one to wrap the week, which I am so happy about. Sunday 22nd, we have Venus in Venus, trine Jupiter in Cancer at 15 degrees. So this is so lovely to end this crazy, epic, chaotic week with the eclipse and the conjunction with Saturn and Neptune in Aries. So please, if you can, make space on this day to really use this aspect, to treat yourself, to do something that makes your heart happy, whatever that means for you. Everyone can be different. Venus is exalted in Pisces. If you are looking to do any beauty treatment procedure, this is the day. Okay, well, Venus in Pisces is a great transit. This is the day to do it. Okay, if you want to go and do some body work, take a salt bath, get a massage, go to the spa. It's all water signs, right? So take a salt bath and let everything just melt away. Maybe this is you enjoying the company with your loved ones. This is you enjoying a cozy night in with your blanket and binge watch. If that's your thing, do it, okay? Do whatever that makes you truly feel held, support, and care for. What can you do for yourself? What can you do for others, right? Maybe for some, this is be in community with people that share the same value with you, that you can enjoy that company. Maybe for some, if you are in a relationship, this is a romantic day, to do something with your loved ones. But remember, the most important relationship is the one to yourself. So love yourself a little bit more today. Treat yourself. You deserve it. We have a crazy epic week. So by the end of it, you deserve it. So go do something for yourself. This is the end of the week. This is what the week is like. Again, it's a very crazy week with so much energy happening. Many of us can feel overstimulated by all this energy, so please prioritize rest, stay hydrated, nourish yourself, carve out some me time if possible. But if not, please, by the end of the week, Sunday, you have to. Don't waste this beautiful aspect after all this chaotic, crazy energies. And again, if you want to explore any transit aspect on a deeper level with your own natal chart, I am here to offer all kinds of astrology consultation. My information are in the description box. Feel free to reach me out there. I'm also on IG. Feel free to follow me over there. And thank you for all your support. Take care of yourself, and be patient. Stay open with what is happening this week, and just allow yourself to sit with them, to process them. And remember, this is a seeding moment. This is a point of initiation. For some, it might feel a bit like calm. Nothing is really happening. Because this is only the first moment of everything. It will continue to unfold for you. But for some, God forbid, this week might be the week where things turn upside down. And if that is the case, remember that you have the agency, you have the ability to control how you feel. So give yourself that time and space to process what is happening. And eclipse time is not a time to do any kind of spell or manifestation, in my own opinion. But if that's your thing, if you're the one that love to use chaotic energy to do some special spell or manifestation, you do your thing. But for myself, this is when we let go of the energy. This is when we turn inward and observe what is happening, because the energy is unpredictable. So I do not recommend personally to do any spell and manifestation. Anyway, take care. I am sending you lots of love. Thank you for being here with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.